Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing well. You know how there is this big push for, nostalgic properties out there.
Yes.
It's been the trend for 300 years now, it seems. No new ideas, just refreshing old ones, which whatever.
Sure.
But one that I would love to see come back into the mix that at least how its original form was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I mean, okay. It's still around, though.
Not really. They've when I say it's original, their correct form. The newer cartoons, the newest movie, those are I don't recognize those because I want the actual like old April O'Neil, all the stuff they used to do. But along those lines, there's a pizzeria that is opening up in New York that is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizzeria.
Interesting. Does it taste like turtles?
Why would it taste like turtles?
I don't know. Is it the pizza that they get from the cartoon? Is it exactly made the same way?
Well, they didn't. Well, the whole thing is the Ninja Turtles like pizza. They never go into how they make the pizza, but
I know. I was just kidding.
Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure there was never a recipe for Ninja Turtles, but
it has to be super cheesy. That's all I know. Because that cheese pull every time they got it.
Well, that's just pizza in general. That's just good pizza.
That's good
you got
pizza.
A good cheese pull.
That's right.
I also want that. I want the old Pizza Huts to come back with the red cups.
Those classic Pizza Hut classics.
I said what I said because current Pizza Hut is not Pizza Hut. I want the actual Pizza Hut. It's not Pizza Hut Classic. It's Pizza Hut. The Pizza Huts now are whatever you want to call it.
There is like one left. One, maybe two left of an actual, like, it's preserved. Like, it looks like it's from the 90s. It's got the red cups. It's got the salad bar. It's got the stained glass, lamps. It's got, like, it looks like it's straight out of the 90s.
Yeah.
I think it's called Pizza Hut Classic, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you would love that.
Well, look. I mean, there's just so many of the cool things that like now Pizza Huts, like they're just walking. Like most of them are just these like small little things, and just it's really sad. But I like the idea of a Ninja Turtles pizzeria. I would go there, had the Ninja Turtle games, all sorts of stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be awesome. I would like to see more of that.
Is that like your favorite? No, Transformers is. I was going to say, is that your favorite
So
IP?
as a kid, it was Ninja Turtles, undoubtedly.
Oh, okay.
I always liked Transformers. I like Transformers a lot more now than I probably did as a kid. I still liked them as a kid, but Ninja Turtles have not aged as well, I guess you could say. Like they were huge when I was a kid, and then they kind of went away, and then they went on Nickelodeon, but even those cartoons, something about those cartoons, I never liked the animation of them. And then the most recent Ninja Turtles movie does not exist.
What do you mean? You didn't like it?
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah, it does not exist in my mind. Was not the... people talk about it. It apparently existed. I've never recognized it, but
okay.
I would like... And the arcade game when I was a kid, impossible to beat. I don't think I never beat it as a kid. There was like a level, I can't remember what it was, but like you never could get past it. But
well, if you're a Ninja Turtles fan like Jared, you just learned a whole bunch about him. What he loved.
I used to put on Ninja Turtle concerts with my brother. I went to a Ninja Turtles.
Wait. Hold on. Concerts like you sang?
So the Ninja Turtles had a concert, and they wore like sleeveless jean jackets because they were cool. Mm-hmm. And we would like put the tape on, and we would just reenact the concerts. I remember as a kid, they would come up. That was the first time I ever saw someone come up like under the stage where they would like rise up, and I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I went and saw them in person when I was a kid. I do remember that.
Oh my gosh. You were fully in it.
Oh yeah. There's a tape somewhere of my brother and I having Ninja Turtle concerts out there.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. You have to ask my mom, but yeah.
I mean, they're fine.
Yeah.
But what
do you mean they're fine? They're awesome.
I mean, I'm a girl.
Well, that's fair.
Well, some girls like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I shouldn't say that, but me as a girl, I was into more like girlish things, if you will.
Do girls like Ninja Turtles? I've never.
Some do.
Have you met them, or are you just guessing?
No, I don't think I knew anybody like my age around that time that did.
Because I have not either. So I think this is a theory that there are Ninja Turtle fans that are girls. They may exist. I'm not going to say definitively. I've never talked to a woman that was like, I loved Ninja Turtles.
I have talked to women that like Transformers though.
Well, because, they're awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard to, and you had like girl Transformers.
That's true.
You had a few in there.
That's true.
But yeah. Well, we're not just going to talk about things we liked as kids, although I could go on for hours about that and the cool things there and what I would like as an adult. But we do have some news to talk about. And then we have an interesting discussion here, which is right up my alley because I'm doing a lot of research and doing things in this area, is basically, can AI help you plan a Disney trip? Is it to the point where it can actually be a useful asset to you? And I think a lot of people have assumptions one way or the other. We're going to talk about that as we kind of played around with this and see if it's something that could be an aid to you or wherever it's at. I know people have questions around AI a lot. So that is what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody, if you are watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching us on YouTube and you would like to, you can head over to YouTube at CTM Podcast. You can find video versions of the show over there and show clips. And we are almost at 1,000 subs on that channel. It's going very well. So if you'd like to go over there and subscribe and get us over that 1,000 subscriber milestone, as we just started that channel not that long ago, that would be great. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast form, we are on all the major platforms there. Just ask you to please subscribe and leave us a review. If you would not mind, we would greatly appreciate that. And it'll help us to continue to grow the show. So, all right, let's get into the first news story we have, which is this September 21st, as they do every year, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind will only play September on the ride.
And I love it. I love it so much.
But they won't play Christmas songs during Christmas.
Yeah, well, they did that one year.
Did they? I thought they never have.
Remember, it was like Christmas Mix or whatever, and they had it one year. And it was just one song, and it was like a medley. And they never did it after that, just one year. So
I feel like that ride would be perfect for like seasonal overlays.
Sure, and like change up the songs.
Change up the song. I mean, let's be honest here. Changing up those songs, literally just grab someone's iPod and just put a different list on there, whatever it is. I mean, like at Disneyland, they do a lot of those overlays for different attractions, like Halloween. You could do Christmas. Like I think it could be really cool to do that, give it some uniqueness to it. But Disney World really doesn't do that very much. Every once in a while, they'll have some overlays on some, but it's very minimal.
I wonder if it's because like they don't change the songs very much. It's because of like copyright.
The way my understanding of that goes is essentially they could. It's not really copyright. It's like licensing rights to play stuff. I would assume though Disney has a mass or a thing where they could do that on some level. I don't know the exact reasons here, but I feel like they should.
I would love that. I would love to have some more options.
I've always been so confused, especially out of all, like there's a ton of songs that they use in the Guardians movies. Mm-hmm. Like you could really mix it up there.
Well, did you know that if you're walking out of the Cosmic Rewind, the exit, and because you have to go up and then you have to go back down, so it's a little bit, but they play music in there that they considered to be part of the ride. So you're not going to hear it in the actual ride, but you'll hear it over the speakers as you're leaving, the ones that they thought about.
I just don't know why they just don't play more.
I don't know.
Like put it up there and then have ask people what songs they like. I don't know. That's just me though. But anyways, on the 21st, you can hear September all day long.
Yay!
As the cast members probably lose their minds at that song playing over and over again, but we'll see. All right, next news story we have is Blizzard Beach is now closed for its annual refurbishment, and it will be closed until Typhoon Lagoon closes, which has not been announced when that will happen yet. So it seems like, are they going back and forth again next year?
So, yeah. So this past summer, both parks were open at the same time, which is the first time it's been like that since 2019.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But they do have that perk where you can get free admission on check-in day for the water parks. So that's why they did it. So Blizzard Beach closes in it closes this month. And then Typhoon's going to be open for a little while. And then they'll open Blizzard Beach and then close Typhoon for its annual refurbishment. And then it'll be like that until next summer. And I'm guessing they're going to reopen them at the same time again. Because, you do have the free park admission now on check-in day, and that expires at the end of 2025, but it comes back for summer of 2026. So basically from January to probably May, that perk is not valid. Does that make sense?
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying it makes sense, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like that's just what they're doing. So like if you do have a trip coming up in like the spring of 2026 or like the winter, then you are not going to have that perk available.
Gotcha.
It won't come back until the summer.
All right. Well, that's the plan there.
Yeah.
So that maybe they're not going to fight in the coming summers again.
Fight.
Like they have been, but
yeah.
All right. Well, the next story we have is there are some changes as well coming to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, apparently.
Yeah, so beginning in October, the fairy godmother will appear during the experience. I guess she's just going to walk around and talk to the princesses about I don't know. We'll see how we don't have any details about that. But and the package selections will also change to be a more simplified menu of offerings. So right now, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 6 or 7 different like packages you could choose from. And I think they're just gonna scale that back down to like 3. I don't know though. They didn't give any details about that, but
I mean, from a business standpoint, 3 is typically like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because typically it's like an old marketing tactic. You have your low end offer, you have your really high end one, and then your medium one. And most people will gravitate toward either the medium or the high end one. But when you have too many, there's actually people get overwhelmed with choices.
Well, and they have like the Encanto one, specifically the Encanto one. Mm-hmm. And then they've got like the Grand Royal one, which is like $450 and it's everything. And then the lowest one is like you don't use their dress, like you don't buy a dress, you just bring your own, and they just do like makeup and hair. So I mean, like it's different. It depends on like what you're going for exactly. But our daughter did it 2.5 years ago,
something like that.
I think she was like 7, and she loved it, and it was great. And she's like, I'm gonna do this every year. I was like, well, I don't know about that. I'm glad you got to do it this year.
Yeah, that's when you go,
no, God, no, God, please, no.
Because she's funny, but it was a good experience, and I'm glad we got to do it. And honestly, there's a lot of people that come, onto like social media, and they'll be like, I can't find a reservation for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. And literally, like when I went with my mom and the kids a couple weeks ago, I think it was, walking by Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, it said taking walk-ins or walk-ins welcome or whatever it said on the sign. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I've actually seen a couple of people talking about they're actually seem like they don't have as many people, which again would go toward this summer just not being that busy in general, it seems. But
I mean, that's probably part of it. But at the same time, I think a lot of people, maybe they just like pack in their reservations and they move them around, and it's always at that 60-day mark. And those reservations are at midnight, not at 6 a.m., which is also confusing for some people. They're like, I didn't know it was at midnight.
Well, I think it brings up an interesting question as well, because we talked about before where Disney doesn't have the grasp on the kids like they traditionally have over the years. There's a lot more things kids are into now. And then I think it does raise the question, are, girls of that age, obviously there's going to be some, but I was like, are the majority of them looking to get dressed up like a princess? Like, are these things that they're growing up with? I think that's a legitimate question. I don't know. Obviously, our daughter's a little bit past that age of the princess stuff, and she did, but that's something that I've wondered if you look at just the overall, like, what kids are into. Mm-hmm. I wonder what the demand for, say, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is in the coming years.
It's still pretty high right now.
I'm not saying well, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it is not high. I'm talking about this summer, like you have not as, obviously it was pretty rare to see walk-ups being open, but like in the coming years, that is one question I've had around Disney and just how they fare in that department, given there's just so many different entertainment options that kids are into now. Like when we were kids, there wasn't that much. Like, I mean, there was, but you had like, it was Disney, a lot of it. Then you had like Nickelodeon. Like you didn't have YouTube. You didn't have all these other things that you could be into.
That's true. I don't know. I think being a princess or being like dressed up and the glitter in your hair and the little bit of tiny makeup and doing your hair like slicked back and that big bun, the thing they do. And it can make little girls feel very special. And they do have the boys package. They can do like the nights, like a night thing. They can dress up too. So I mean, like I think it makes them feel special, even if maybe they're not into princesses a lot. They may be into dressing up.
Listen, I'm not a girl, nor have I ever been one. I'm just looking at this from the outside in. Just curiosity is all. I have no idea. That's made me think about that. I've just seen some of the recent trends and stuff talking about that subject. It's kind of made me think about that. But all right, next story we have is Disney Plus subscribers can now enter to win a dream Disney World vacation.
So through October 2nd, Disney Plus Perks program members can enter to win a 4-day, 5-night, that's confusing, isn't it? 5-day, 4-night vacation?
One would assume.
Okay. At Walt Disney World Resort, concierge level deluxe room. Okay. Coach airfare for 4 people, ground transportation for 4 people, 4 4-day park hopper tickets, VIP tour guide for 1 8-hour day, and 4 $400 Disney gift cards. And you can enter through the Disney Plus Perks dashboard. So if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you can enter. It's like worth like $16,000 or something insane.
Okay.
So
interesting. All right.
I mean, that sounds great.
I mean,
sounds amazing. The concierge level thing and the VIP tour and the gift cards. It's like, okay, thank you so much.
If somebody won that would definitely be a nice perk.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's going to be it for the news. But before we do that, I just want to remind everybody, if you are looking for some great theme park apparel, you can go check out Capture the Magic Apparel, and that is our company where we hand print everything, and then we ship it out to you ourselves. We don't use third-party printers. We have very high-quality inks and shirts that we use, so very comfortable shirts that will last you a very long time. And we have some new designs in the shop that you can check out, some Halloween shirts that you can wear to the theme park, just wear around the house, wear to, go out into the town with them. I don't know. They're fancy enough you could do that. But you can go to ctmapparelco.com, use the promo code September, get yourself 20% off of your order. Plus, if you're a Club 32 member, you get 25% off year-round. So you can get a discount all the time there. But you can get yourself some good shirts. Plus, if you order $49 or more, you also get free shipping as well. So you can take advantage of that. So again, ctmapparelco.com and use the promo code September. Get yourself the most comfortable theme park shirts around. And if you'd like to support the channel, it's a great way to do that. So there you go.
Awesome.
So, all right, well, let's get to our discussion about, can AI help you plan a Disney World or really any vacation? I have been doing quite a bit with AI in terms of playing around with it, some different business stuff. And one thing I will say before we even talk about any of this, it'll probably all be outdated in about 2 months because I'm not even kidding. It is moving at such a breakneck speed in terms of the capabilities of it, of what it's able to do. So this is kind of more or less like, as it stands right now, this is likely to improve going into the future.
Yeah.
So, but all right, we'll lead us into this, Jamie, and then we'll start talking about it.
So obviously Jared has more experience than I did. I started playing around with it a little bit. I used Chat GPT. I can never say that. Chat GPT and Google Gemini. Those are the 2 AI programs that I kind of played around with for some prompts and some questions. I am going to focus more on Chat GPT for this and what we found, because honestly, it worked a little bit better.
It depends on what you want it to be used for.
Well, and I'll explain that.
Yeah. So just as in general, ChatGPT is pretty good, generalized, like finding information. Yeah. I haven't done it a lot with Gemini. Gemini's got some photo making skills, things you can use. If you're looking to write stuff, Claude AI is actually the best one to use there. Okay. It's kind of more of like one for like helping you write stories and things.
Okay. Can you explain like how AI works, like in general, not just for this, but like in general, like how does it actually work? If no one's ever used it before, yeah.
So in a nutshell, AI is a simulation of like human intelligence. That's what it's supposed to be. Just at a much faster speed, much higher capacity. As it continues to evolve, it can do, calculations and things that would take humans, potentially even years in some cases to do in seconds. That's the type of thing behind it. It's got algorithms involved, obviously can pull things from the internet. It's also sort of data gathering. So that's essentially what it can do. The idea behind it is that you are leveraging human intelligence at a higher level than what you're able to do.
Okay.
In a nutshell. Not just trying to do layman's definition of kind of what AI is.
Okay. That's a lot of words.
It's an interesting concept. I will say that much. Yeah.
My basic understanding is I go to Chat GPT, I put something in I want to know, and it just spits out a bunch of stuff. That's how I know.
Right.
That's how I would use it.
Well, and it's, obviously AI is going to change a lot of things as it continues to evolve. And I know undoubtedly you're going to hear people talk about AI and there's people that are against it or for it and think whatever you want about it, but there's no really going back at this point. So it's there's a lot of people talking about it, and you can utilize it even in day-to-day life. You can do stuff with it that is just, you can leverage it in different ways. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
Nice.
So when it comes to actually, if you're looking to use AI for whatever it is, and let's say you're looking for help on a vacation, it really comes down to what's called the prompts of what you use to basically do the search or the query.
Right.
The better your prompts are, the more detailed they are, the more information you feed it, that is going to give you a better result in your searches. So it really depends on kind of how you use prompts and things of that nature.
Right. So, and that's kind of what we did here. So we put in a bunch of prompts for different kind of topics. We started with planning, just a overall planning a Disney vacation and see what it would spit out. And then we went to questions like best time to visit Disney, rides, merchandise, everything. And we'll go through that in a minute. But I want to start, if that's okay with you, if I can start with the main planning of the full trip and see what they spit out.
Sure.
Okay. So the prompt was provide an itinerary for a 7-day trip to Walt Disney World for a family of 2 adults and 2 children under the age of 10. Kids love roller coasters and simulation rides. They love buffets, Mickey bars, and fireworks shows. Include Lightning Lane purchases. That's what I gave them.
Okay.
And then after a little bit, it took about 15 seconds-ish, they said, here is a 7-day family-friendly Walt Disney World itinerary, spitting back out what I just told them. Now, they did say Genie Plus whenever they wrote back what this was. I was like, Genie Plus, huh? I don't think that's existing anymore.
Well, and that's probably because some of the stuff is going to be outdated. And that's the thing too about using AI is especially on things like this. And we'll talk at the end whether we would recommend it or not. You'll probably be able to figure this out through this, but you have to really double check stuff a lot of times because of that. So that doesn't surprise me that it has outdated information in that way.
So they did do a day-by-day itinerary of what lightning lanes you should buy, or what lightning lanes you should reserve, where you should eat, what snacks you should get for all the parks. I think all 4 of the parks are included, including a park hopper day, 2 Magic Kingdom days, and then more lightning lane recommendations. And then at the end, they always give you a follow-up question. Would you like me to add exact Genie Plus lightning lane booking priorities by hour so you know what to reserve at 7 a.m. each day? And again, this is outdated because it's not at 7 a.m. It's on the day of. It's 7 days in advance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I said yes. And then they gave me suggestions. And so it goes through that. And then they said, you like to recommend arrival times at each park? Yes. So it gave me that too. Yada, yada, yada. And then it said, do you want to build in resort downtime blocks? Yes. And then it just kept going. It kept asking me more and more questions about my trip that I could include in my itinerary. And then it literally asked me, do you want me to put this into a PDF for you? I'm like, sure. Give me a PDF. And then they said, how do you want to organize this? Do you want this in two blocks on 1 page, or do you want it all on 1 page? Do you want me to put it in a 5x7 so you can print out? And I'm like, just very extensive stuff. And I was like, okay, so they're being super thorough and asking again, leading questions that maybe someone that's not familiar with Disney very much would be appreciative of, right?
Right. Even
if you are this, it was very impressive. I was like, well, that's great. Right. So we did that, and that was good and all. And like you said, we're talking about Genie Plus being outdated. That was something I kept seeing pop up where I was like, okay, that's not accurate. Some of the things that I noticed with Chat GPT that they would give not only incorrect information, but they would leave stuff out. So best time to visit Disney? I put that as a prompt. And they told me because it was nicer weather that September would be great. I go, what? And I'm like, September in Florida is not better weather.
I guess that's relative, but yeah.
But like compare, like it's not cooler. It's rainier. It's hurricane season.
Right.
And they didn't put anything about it being hurricane season or anything like that. I'm like, that would be nice to know or something. You know what I mean? If you were thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
They left out information about Muppet Vision 3D.
Because it's newer.
Because it's newer. I asked a question, what refurbishments? I said Disney Hotel refurbishments and Disney World ride refurbishments. And they give me a whole list. Big Thunder Mountain, Buzz Lightyear, Carousel Progress says scheduled to close. I'm like, okay, great. The Riverboat, Railroad, Spaceship Earth. They even said Star Wars Launch Bay is closing. Mm-hmm. They mentioned Animation Courtyard is closing, and then on and on. Never once mentioned the fact that Muppet Vision 3D closed a few months ago.
Right.
I was like, you probably could have done that. But if I ask, is Muppet Vision 3D closed? They say yes. So it's like with a system like this, you almost have to ask the right questions to get suitable answers, or have to like kind of know what you're talking about, at least a little bit. Because what if you like really like Muppets and you're like, oh, you think it's still open even though they never told you through other information that's pulling from the internet.
Right.
And you get there, you're like, oh crap, it's not open.
Yeah. Talking about all this, and I've used AI quite a bit on things. If you're looking at using AI to really be is it something that can really be an asset to help plan your trip? If it were to be, you would have to feed it a lot of information. Mm-hmm. You would need to tell it, these rides are closed. This is the park hours. This is all the things that are pertinent to your trip. You would have to feed it that information, as well as like if you wanted to feed it potential, crowd levels, like things that you'd have to do a lot of manual entry. But even at that point, when you're dealing with like theme parks are obviously like they change quite a bit in terms of the hours will change, rides and things like that. It's kind of an ever evolving thing, and AI doesn't do a great job on that. It could help you with general strategies in terms of, hey, Monday through Friday, what might be the best strategy with these things in mind? Like it's not bad for brainstorming. And that's kind of where I maybe would put this, is just say you could use it for brainstorming on maybe some ideas, or what are some strategies that you get, because what it'll do is it'll go search the internet out of, articles that are out there or I don't think it can actually, it can't like process videos or like listen to podcasts, but it can process obviously articles. So I think general things, yes. Anything you're talking specifics, I would not trust the information that it is giving you. And I think that's something to just keep in mind. It was, as much as theme parks change, I just don't think it would be something to be useful on that end. And like if you're writing content, if you're like, hey, write me an article about so-and-so, you'd better triple check that thing, because there's probably going to be a lot of stuff in there. And like, it's not going to say, if it doesn't know, it's not going to tell you, like, I'm not sure. It's just going to take a guess, but it's going to present it in a way that is very confident. So that it's one of those things, like, you just can't take it for what it tells you. But
well, here's another example of something I asked. I said, what are the transportation options from the airport to Disney World? I was thinking they're going to say Magical Express, but I guess it's old enough they won't say it anymore. So they said, yes, there are several ways to get from Orlando International Airport to Walt Disney World. They mentioned Mears. They mentioned Sunshine Flyer, which they absorbed. So that's the same one anywhere. Rideshare, taxi, private car and service, rental car. Then I said, do minivans do trips to the airport? And they said, yes. And I was like, but then why didn't they mention that before? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it was one of those things I had to know beforehand, a little bit of information to ask the question.
This is why the prompts make a difference.
Are very
because
important.
You essentially, to get a correct answer on this, you would have to tell it all the options.
Yes. And while it is limited to certain resort guests, deluxe resort guests, it is available. So that was my thing about, like, okay, that's one more thing where they're like kind of leaving it out, but it's just because, they're not, I guess we're not just specific enough. I guess if I asked, is minivan available the first hand, then they would tell me yes.
I mean, there's a lot of times using AI where it'll spit something out and you just tell it, like, are you drunk? And it'll be like, my apologies, and then it will correct itself. So yeah, it's not definitely by any means, it is not perfect by any means.
Right. I did ask, okay, here's one that's not good for it. Dining reservation timing. I asked, what time do I need to be ready to make dining reservations at the 60-day mark at Disney? And they say dining reservations open up 60 days in advance at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. If you're staying at a resort hotel, here. And then it said it's best to be logged in and ready to go by 5:45 a.m. so you can hit refresh right at 6. Technically, this is correct. But again, this is one of those things you wouldn't know unless you were talking to someone that's already in the know and like is kind of figured out the system. A lot of reservations open up before 6 a.m.
Right.
And they don't advertise that though online. So it's like you have to almost like kind of know that beforehand. But again, Chat GPT is not going to tell you that. Does that make sense? Like it's just like,
well, this goes into knowledge and wisdom and like just life experience in many ways. Like basically Chat GPT is kind of like it read a textbook and then it's going to tell you what it learned from the textbook. And everybody knows textbooks, you can learn things, but a lot of the what gives you a greater knowledge or the in-between stuff that you figure out when you're doing something, whether it's like you work on cars or you plan vacations or you build homes. Like there's a lot of things that you might read in a textbook, and when you get on the job, you're going to sit there and do this stuff and then figure out, oh, well, this kind of does that. Okay. And that Chat GPT does not have any of that. It doesn't have, because it doesn't have any experience.
Right.
It just has what it sees and just basically regurgitates to you.
Another thing it doesn't do is that it doesn't understand nuance. Like what might work for one family in certain situations would not work for another. So it's unable to do that. See, also too, the refurb list, which I think is interesting. They left out, a bunch of stuff about refurbs, like the pool at All Star Movies, I think just closed, not on the list. Toy Story Land has a bunch of construction going on right now. They didn't mention any of that, anything I asked.
Right.
So again, it's not you're not going to get an updated list of stuff that's going on Chat GPT because it hasn't been updated.
Right.
So I think that is the biggest issue, is just that it leaves out information that's vital to maybe vital to your vacation. Sometimes it gives you incorrect information just because of the nature of it. And you just have to be specific in your prompts to get the answer you need, I think is.
Yeah. And I think the question would come into like, could you use Chat GPT to plan out your vacation, all the in between, all that stuff? I would say no. This is the way I look at AI in general. AI, at least at this point, things can change with it very quickly. It's an asset or a tool you can use to help your current information you have and maybe process stuff. So like if you're looking at like processing data, or you give it a scenario, or you're just not really, maybe you're brainstorming, or you're just looking for things. I think at this point, if you're talking about a Disney vacation or really any vacation, I wouldn't trust anything that it tells you. You would have to go in and do the work again. Like you're still gonna have to do the homework one way or the other, or obviously like, have a travel agent help you. Travel with Zip, vacationwithzip.com. But like that's what it would have to do to be able to make sure that information is correct. So you would have to check it, because you wouldn't want to go in here and use it and then have to go in and then you mess up and you're like, oh, well, what the heck? And it was like, well, ChatGPT just didn't have the information. And it changes so quickly, this information stuff, it's not going to have all the latest stuff. And then again, you'd have to be very specific. You'd have to have already this information at your fingertips to feed to it to give you a proper answer back. But more than likely, if you had all that information and if you've gone before and things like that, you probably already have an idea of kind of what you want to do anyway. So it's kind of that interesting thing of like, if you completely knew nothing about, like, say, going to Disney World, it could give you a pretty good learning course. Yeah, it could give you a starting point on some ideas and things. But I think if you're somebody who goes a lot and you know what you want to do, I don't really think it wouldn't. I don't know what usefulness it would be, I guess, when it comes to planning a vacation.
And also, too, like, not only can you sift through information to make sure it's like correct or it's accurate, the program itself can't like book anything for you. So you can't like, hey,
Right.
I wouldn't like to book this flight into Orlando. Be like, oh, I can't do that for you, but I can give you the link or give you the phone number or whatever. But if you get a travel agent like Zip Travel, they'll do all that for you.
No, you're right. I mean, that's the
I'm just
thing.
saying.
You still have to you still have to take that information and then apply it. So it could go,
Yep.
If you were completely like didn't know which park to do on a certain day, you could basically be like, hey, which park would be better on this day with this crowd level and blah, blah, blah. It might be able to give you some information back where you go, it may make more sense to do like this park that day. Like you give it specific scenarios with a lot of information, it could be helpful. But in terms of just planning your entire trip for you, because again, it doesn't know you, and vacations are very like independent, like very unique to each person and family. You know what you like, like your family likes.
What I was saying about nuance.
Right. Are
yeah.
they morning people? Are you like go at night? Like you could tell it all these things and see what it says, but it may not even give you the correct answer. And they're not. It doesn't. Again, it doesn't know you. So
Right.
A lot of when it comes to vacation is very subjective to begin with. So I think it could be a tool that likely will increase into the future that you could utilize for information. But until it has up to the, I guess you could just say day information, you could be getting outdated info that could leave you very frustrated if you use it for your trip planning and then you get there and you're like, what the heck? And it's like, well, it didn't have all the information that was needed to, help you do all that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's useful as a tool, but don't rely on it for everything is basically the takeaway.
I'll tell you one area that ChatGPT is very useful for.
What's that?
Coupon codes. If you're shopping
Coupon codes.
If you're shopping online before you check out, if you just tell it to search like I'm looking for coupon codes or discounts for whichever website or whatever you're doing,
Okay.
it can actually find a lot of them.
I did ask the prompt about discounts for Disney too, and I said, "Are there any discounts on hotels at Disney World right now?" I said, "You're in luck. There are currently active discounts," and it's talking about as of September 10th, 2025, is what it said on the prompt, which is when we're recording this, and it's talking about late summer and fall offer, the season offer for the general public, Florida resident and pass holder rates. So it does include everything they can pull from the website.
Right.
It doesn't include stuff like AAA or, from Undercover Tourist or anything like that. But it'll just have it all organized for you if you don't want to go to the website.
Yeah.
So
I think in some circumstances it can be useful. Much more. I think ChatGPT is much more useful if you're just complete newbie to it all. Mm-hmm. The more you know, the more you've gone. I think it's less useful in many ways. It's much more useful if you have like the coupon code thing, because you can literally tell it whatever.com coupon codes and it will do a direct search for that, and it's looking for one specific thing. When you're talking about a vacation, like how many different variables are you talking about on a vacation? You've got park hours and ride operate. It's got all these things, so it works very efficiently on a very specific singular topic, and the more you layer on top of that, then your chances are going to increase that the answer back. And it also, then you're going off of like, is it have up to the date data on this stuff? Then your answers start getting much more skewed toward like, I wouldn't trust it. So if you had like a very specific query about when was Dumbo built, it could tell you exactly when Dumbo was built, things of that nature. But I think vacations are just so complex in just terms of all the variables there. Mm-hmm. That it becomes, I would not trust the information it gives you at face value.
Well, even they said at the very bottom of the page on the website says ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info.
Right. It always tells you that.
It's like, hey.
They also don't want to be held liable for if you do something and then they're like, ChatGPT told me to. Like, we told them to check it. So,
True.
Yeah. I mean, I think as it continues to evolve, it'll be much more of an asset. But like I said, it's not going to book your tickets for you. It's not going to handle all that stuff. It's not going to do all the things that, it's basically information gathering that you would have.
Yeah.
That could help. I would put it this way. It helps you gather information potentially if you couple it with what you actually know, or say, listen to this show or other shows, and then help you make a decision on things you want to do on your trip. But I in no way, shape, or form, let's put it this way. If I was spending $10,000 on a vacation, I in no way, shape, or form would just leave it up to the whims of ChatGPT in terms of how that money was going to be spent. And,
Right.
you know, I'm expecting to have a great trip. I put it that way.
Right.
All right. Well, I mean, it's an interesting topic nonetheless. And it's one we will revisit maybe in like 6 months, another year to see if it's improved,
Yeah.
which I assume that it will. Now, what would be kind of interesting is really go in depth and do this, like have a very specific trip itinerary planned out and then go and use each one of them to see which one's more accurate. That would take a lot of time, but you could
Right.
do that. But I think in general, ChatGPT would be the most accurate. But even you're finding with this one, it's not going to have a lot of stuff. And I've done searches for like even Universal and other things, and it's very hit and miss. I don't utilize it for that. It's much more on like very specific tasks, or if you're trying to find very, you know, pertinent information, it can just look up easily. That's kind of more where it's useful there. So, but interesting topic, and it'll continue to evolve. And now, if you want to make fake pictures, one thing you can use it for, this is kind of crazy, with that new Banana Nano that Google has. That's part of Gemini. Right now, it's kind of free to use. I think it's going to wipe out Photoshop and like editing, because you could take like your Disney pictures or your vacation pictures. You can put it on there, and then you could change stuff in it. You could say, hey, put this filter on it, make it look like this other image, and it will edit the photo to kind of whatever you want. It's not again, it's not perfect. You may have to tweak it a little bit, but you can do stuff on that end, like vacation wise. Or if you had a picture of you in front of the castle and there was somebody walking behind you, you could literally tell it, take the people in the background out, and it would remove them.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That would be awesome.
So on that end, yeah, you could do a lot. It's got a lot more flexibility on that side of things.
Well, that is a different story than this, but I see what you mean. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I've been playing with that quite a bit. It's interesting. I'll put it that way. So a couple of thumbnails we did of us. I played with it for like Food and Wine and Halloween Horror Nights that I use our likeness. It kind of looked like us.
A little bit. I was like, why is my mouth so big?
Well, I said to make you look terrified. So I think that's what it was.
Yeah. It's got a little ways to go, but it's good. It's good.
Very true. Very true. But, well, either way, I think that's going to be it, though, for the show. So be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Captain Magic everywhere, including YouTube, where I do daily videos over there on theme parks, entertainment, and pop culture. Just had a live stream when you're hearing this 2 nights ago with the Orange Grove 55 guys. Had a lot of discussions about lots of different things there, so you can check out some extra content over there. And then almost at 14,000 subs there. So continuing to grow there. So go subscribe and check that out. And then, of course, video versions of the podcast you can find at CTM Podcast, as we're almost at 1,000 subs over there. So if you go subscribe over there, we'd greatly appreciate that. And then we have some other shows on the network. We have the CTM Universal show, where we talk about Universal Studios. And we had an episode on Monday where we talked about some of the news and some comments that Mark Woodbury, the CEO of Universal, had to say about Epic Universe and some of the other things going on at Universal. And then Jamie has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show. When's the next one there coming out?
Monday. And if you want to be a guest on a future Trip Tales episode, you can go to ctmtriptales.com and tell me about your trip. And again, still looking for November, December so far for this year. I've got September, October already covered. But yeah, if you got a trip and you think I would like to have it on the show, contact me.
There you go. All right.
ctmtriptales.com.
Sounds good. And before you go, if you'd like to get more content, be part of a good community, interact with us a bit more, contribute to the show, you can look at Joining Club 32, and that's our private group where you can get additional content. We have live streams every week that we do there. We have the Clubhouse show. We have a private podcast feed where you can find the content as well as music loops from the parks. So you can check all those out if you want to listen to those throughout your day. You get 25% off CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products. It's a private Facebook group. We can ask for opinions and ideas if you got a trip coming up or feedback, or just interact with everybody there. We have meetups as well twice a year. And so a lot of things you can check out there. And just if you, again, want to contribute to the show like what we do, want to help us keep the lights on around here, that's how you can do that. So you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options. And if you do a yearly option, you save a little bit of money and you get a free t-shirt. So if you want to check it out, you can go to ctmvip.com. And if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you. So, all right, well, that's going to be it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.
bye.